Hi everybody, welcome to Healthline. I am Gregory Zarian. Okay, so fall has kind of started. Summer's over, we still get some warm days, but we're kind of pulling out some sweaters, some of you are throwing on some gloves and scarves. But here's the thing, just because being outside and it's not as warm as much, doesn't mean that you quit working out and keeping your heart rate moving, keeping your health on. So even with the sweaters and throwing on some workout clothes, keep it moving, and the best way that we invite you to do it here at Healthline is do it with your friends and your family. A family that is healthy together can pass on that information to friends and family, so keep your health on as the seasons change. And speaking of seasons changing, I'm going to ask you a question. What happens and what do we all talk about in regards to our health when it goes from summer into fall? Go ahead. What is it? What is it? Flu season. Already I'm seeing all over social media and the internet and TV. Get your flu shot, get healthy, do this and do that. And a lot of you are into it and a lot of you are opposed to it. So I'm here to give you all you need to know about why you need to get your flu shot. So joining us from Glendale Adventist Medical Center, family practice doctor, Dr. Susan Dasta. How are you, doctor?
I'm fine, thank you, Gregory. Thank you for having me.
Love that you're here. Give us some of your history before we dive into what we need to know about the flu shot.
Okay, excuse me. I'm originally from Missouri.
I love that you say Missouri, because most people say Missouri.
That's right.
It's Missouri.
Not if you're from Missouri, you don't. I attended the University of Missouri there in Columbia, and I did my medical training at KCUMB, which is the Kansas City University of Medicine and Biosciences. I did my residency training at Medical Center of Independence. I've been in practice for 18 years, and I relocated to Los Angeles about a year and a half ago.
Since I'm a native, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, welcome,
Thank you.
Welcome to my country.
Thank you. I think I made the decision one December day when it was about 18 degrees and sleeting. So.
And what's amazing is being here in Glendale. If it passed anything past 60, we're like, oh my gosh, it's the thermal tundra. So coming from where you come from to where we are, and the climate's just so different. You're fully aware of how sick people can get.
Of course.
During this season and into, you know, it goes fall, winter, even into early spring.
Absolutely.
What's the difference in regards to how intense it is out there compared to here?
Really not much.
No?
No, the illness is the illness.
Okay.
And the same strains of the flu affect people all across the country and across the world, really.
Speaking of the flu, what is the flu?
Influenza is a viral illness, which means it's caused by a virus.
Okay.
It is a respiratory illness that affects the nose, the throat, the lungs, and it can cause anything from a relatively mild illness to quite serious disease and with a lot of complications.
And when you say complications, people can die from the flu.
Oh, absolutely. Tens of thousands of people die every year from the flu.
Okay, hold that thought. Okay, when we come back, we're going to share with you all you need to know about what the flu is, the difference between flus and cold, and as I always invite you to do, stand up, stretch, have a big glass of water, and you know what, between now and when we come back, jump up and down for 60 seconds. We'll see you on the other side. Don't go away. Welcome back to Healthline. I am Gregory Zarian. Okay, did you have a big glass of water and did you jump up and down? I hope so, because that means you're a little bit out of breath. I'm sure you've noticed that the face of Adventist Health Glendale has changed. For years, as long as I can remember, we were known as Glendale Adventist Medical Center. Adventist Health has broadened the umbrella, and now it's all about Adventist Health and the location you're at, and for us it's Adventist Health Glendale. And I want to share with you that once again, U.S. News and World Report names Adventist Health Glendale among best hospitals, ranking number 16 in the Los Angeles metro area and number 28 in all of California, and high performing in 5 categories of care. So that means there's no reason why you don't come visit us. Speaking of visiting us, it's flu season starting so early, and if you are not feeling great, where do you go? You come see our guest, Dr. Susan Dasta. Doctor, difference between, because I asked our viewer what the difference is, what is the difference between a cold and a flu? Because we confuse it all the time.
Absolutely, we do. And in fact, we have a whole category of what we call flu-like illnesses.
Okay.
Cold being one of them.
Okay.
They're both caused by a virus.
Okay.
Colds tend to be milder illnesses overall, and they don't have the same kind of serious potential complications that the flu does.
Can people die from a cold?
No.
Okay, because earlier you said people do. In fact, you said tens of thousands
Absolutely.
of people die from the flu, which we'll talk about. In regards to the common cold, what are we looking at in regards to just signs and symptoms and care?
Some of the signs and symptoms are quite similar, but they tend to be much milder.
Okay.
For example, you typically get a fever, a relatively high fever with influenza.
Okay.
With a cold, you usually do not.
Okay.
Occasionally, you will have a very low-grade short fever. The flu tends to come on suddenly,
Okay.
whereas a cold tends to come on more gradually.
Those
over a
couple
period
of days that you're like, I know it's
starting
coming.
to feel bad.
And then you know what's worse is when you get the beginning stages of a cold that never turns into a cold,
You
which is
just
worse. You're
continue
like,
to feel
okay,
bad.
cold, come get me. Okay.
Both illnesses may have muscle aches,
Okay.
but with influenza, the muscle aches tend to be much more severe,
Okay.
whereas they're very mild with a cold. Cough tends to go with both illnesses, but the cough with influenza is much more severe and can potentially turn into bronchitis or pneumonia, whereas with a cold it typically does not.
Are both viral?
Yes.
What is the difference between viral and bacterial?
Well, they're two entirely different entities.
Okay.
A bacteria is a living being, so to speak. A virus is alive but not technically living because it cannot live outside the human body or its host,
Okay.
which is typically the human body in this case. A virus is basically, as compared to a bacterium does all the things living things do.
Okay.
A virus is just kind of a packet of code. And when we're exposed to it and it goes into our cells, it has one thing that it does, and that is to hijack the cell and tell it, make more of me.
Okay. In regards to, and please correct me if viruses, you take antibiotics.
No, it's the other way around.
Oh, okay. So
Antibiotics work for, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
It's okay.
Antibiotics work against bacteria.
Okay.
They do not work against viruses.
So when you have the flu, because the flu is a virus, you don't really take an antibiotic for the flu, or depending on what kind of strain you may have.
That is correct. You do not take an antibiotic. There are antiviral medications,
Okay.
and we do sometimes give those for people with the flu, particularly if it's someone who is either very ill or at risk for more serious complications.
Okay.
They do not cure the flu. They will typically give you somewhat milder illness or help you get over it more quickly.
Okay.
But they have to be started to be effective very promptly after you become ill, within 48 hours usually.
Okay. Since so many, I want to wrap up the cold. What is your recommendation for someone that doesn't want to get on an antibiotic, and how do they treat their cold?
Mostly symptomatically,
Okay.
Cough medicine for the cough, Tylenol or ibuprofen for fever and for
Pain.
the muscle aches, a decongestant or a mucolytic for nasal congestion and drainage. Lots of rest, fluids.
Do you suggest, because I mean, we all have our urban myths. My grandma or grandparents would have me sweat the cold out. Does that work?
If you're
you wanna bring
talking
the fever
about
down?
purposely creating a extra sweat in order to get rid of the cold, no, that doesn't work.
Do you invite people to work out when they have a cold?
If they feel like it.
Okay. So it basically depends on how bad the symptoms are.
Sure.
If you have a cold, how do you not spread your cold?
Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands.
Well, same thing with the flu.
Cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze.
Well, let's go back to washing our hands. Here on Healthline, we learned that when you wash your hands, you use warm water, and you basically to yourself sing happy birthday.
That's a good way to do it.
Happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me, happy birthday, dear Gregory, you're not getting my cold. Happy birthday to me. Okay, there's
Exactly.
that. And then when you say sneeze, because my nephews do this, and they're 9 and 7, when you sneeze into your elbow, you go, achoo. Okay?
That's probably not really ideal because then your elbow touches lots of other things.
So if you have to sneeze,
cover your hand,
Cover
use
your
a
hand.
Kleenex,
Okay.
and then wash your hands.
Okay.
You know.
any other, and don't share.
Exactly.
Don't
Don't
share-
share glasses, silverware. Don't kiss on the mouth.
Okay.
Those kinds
And
of
one thing
things.
that I want to say too, that my twin brother and I do all the time, is sometimes we'll see people that have colds and they'll hug us and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so sick. Here's the great gift that we don't want. Let us know that you have a cold. If somebody comes up to me and I think that I'm not feeling great, I'll just say, you know what, I don't really feel like I have a cold coming on. And a wave and a smile is just as good as you giving somebody your influenza or your bacterial infection. So wave, smile, don't give the gift that keeps on giving, because then the entire friend and family that you just infected is going to hate you, and it's not a good time. More on how to treat your flu, and I have a question. Who gets the flu more, males or females? Don't go away, I'll give you the answer when we come back. Welcome back to Healthline. I am Gregory Zarian. Are you looking for a doctor? I have an antidote right here. Physician referral line. Call Adventist Health Glendale's personalized physician referral line to find a doctor that is right for you. All you have to do is call 818-409-8100 for help today. And why not make that phone call? As I said earlier, we've gone from spring into fall, fall into winter, winter into spring. Flu season has snuck up upon us. So to be ahead of the flu game, make a phone call. And what I love about Adventist Health Glendale, it's all about family care. It's all about, as you know from watching Healthline, it's all about information that you give to your friends and family. Their purpose is whole person care and God's love. So why not get ahead of the flu season and make a phone call and find a family practice doctor that can take care of not just you, your entire family. And speaking of family doctors, joining us from Adventist Health Glendale is Dr. Susan Dasta. Doctor, anything else you want to share with us in regards to the cold or?
One point that I did want to make when you were
Please.
talking about people coming and hugging and being close to you and greeting you, influenza can be transmitted from as far as 6 feet away.
Okay.
If someone coughs, sneezes, talks, and the virus, it's transmitted in respiratory droplets. And that has been shown to be possible from up to about 6 feet away.
Okay, do me a favor. If you're not feeling good, stay home. And again, it's also, I think, it's just common courtesy. You know, just wave. It's okay to wave. Yeah, just stay home. And speaking of washing your hands and protecting yourself when you're sneezing, here, I'll say it again. Just say to your friends, hey, you know what? I'm not feeling great. I have a cold. Something's coming on. Be very clear with your environment, the people in your environment, just so you don't pass that on.
Absolutely.
Talk to us about hand sanitizers. I grew up with touching everything. I grew up with drinking water out of a water hose and washing my hands a lot, but now we are so, I feel, inundated with hand sanitizers.
Hand sanitizers have a very important place in protecting from infection because they're readily available where you may not have soap and water.
Okay.
They kill certain kinds of bacteria, but not all kinds of bacteria. It's still not as effective as washing your hands. As far as drinking out of the hose as a child, children, that's how we become immune and develop our immune system, is by being exposed to the world around us.
Do you feel that younger, like kids, are being overprotected by too much hand sanitizer? Because I'm the first, because I travel so much, I will take the wet wipe and I'll wipe down my area and I'll put some Neosporin in my nose and I'll do my air, but like I'll be very preventative, but I don't wash my hands at every second. I don't, and I know I'm older than kids. Do you think that we're oversaturating younger folks by giving too much sanitizer?
Not really.
No?
I think it's a wise precaution. You know, I mean, it's a big world out there, and it's important to protect your children from as much as you can within a reason, because you're going to be exposed to things. And that's why when children start attending school, you know, the average elementary school child will have between 6 to 8 colds a year, because they are now being exposed to things. That's how they become immune to those things.
So. And then is it true that once you get a cold, you're immune to that strain?
That particular virus, typically, yeah.
So then you're an advocate of do the hand sanitizer and also live your life, though.
Exactly.
Speaking of flu season and hand sanitizer, the flu shot. A lot of people are for it. There are those that are against it. Tell me your thoughts.
The flu vaccination is the #1 tool that we have to help prevent the flu.
Okay.
And not only to prevent the illness itself, but to prevent the complications that can be really serious. The flu vaccine is safe. It protects you against hospitalizations for the flu, which are in the hundreds of thousands per year. As I said earlier, I believe there are tens of thousands of deaths every year from the flu. For a lot of people, it may be a relatively minor illness, but it can potentially be very, very serious.
Why does it get, I know it affects a lot of the older community. Why does it become so serious?
Well, people who are at higher risk of complications from influenza, which are older people over the age of 65,
Okay.
children, particularly under the age of 5, and particularly toddlers and babies under the age of 2. Pregnant women, the flu vaccine protects pregnant women and their babies as they're developing, and even provides some protection to the baby for several months after it's born.
Okay.
People with chronic illnesses like
as?
asthma, lung disease, heart disease, diabetes, those conditions can be worsened by the flu, by the illness, and vaccination protects against that.
I asked you before the break, who do you see more of in regards to getting treated? Or, I mean, well, first of all, who gets sick more throughout the season, men or women?
I don't think there's a particular difference between the two. We tend to see more women because women are more likely to come to the doctor.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Okay, so guys, here's the deal. Go to the doctor. Like, I have no shame in my doctor game, meaning I'm not going to get a hangnail and be like, here, can you cauterize this? But I will, if I'm not feeling great. Like, my father was an advocate about, he didn't over-research, because we all go on Google and we overlook and over this, and we kind of scare ourselves out of what's not really happening. Make an appointment, go to the doctor. And that's going back to the Adventist Health Glendale Personalized Physician Referral Hotline, is to find a doctor that you can talk to, because it's all about a relationship.
Absolutely.
It's we're having a relationship right now, doctor.
Hopefully.
I hope it's good for you.
It's good for me.
What are the side effects from the flu shot?
Typically, the flu vaccine is very safe.
Okay.
We've been giving it to people, literally millions of people, for more than 50 years since it first came out, and it is very safe. The most common is just a little soreness on the arm, or maybe a little redness on the arm.
Okay.
You can get very mild symptoms like a runny nose or
so mild flu-like symptoms.
Exactly.
Okay.
Those typically occur within 24 hours of getting the shot, and they last a day or two at the most. But we've done studies where we gave one group of people, a blind study, gave one group of people the flu vaccine and gave the other group saltwater shots.
Okay.
The side effects reported by the people who got each were virtually identical. The only one that was any different for the flu vaccine was a little bit sore arm. So the flu vaccine cannot give you the flu.
And interesting what the mind creates. More about the flu and all you need to know about being healthy this fall. Don't go away. Thank you for joining us on our last break, and it's all about the flu. Joining us from Adventist Health Glendale is Dr. Susan Dasta. Doctor, family practice, family medicine. You work in a great clinic. Please share with us a little bit about that.
I do work in a great clinic. As I said earlier, I've practiced most of my career in Missouri. Relocated to Los Angeles about 1.5 years ago, and I'm currently practicing in the Adventist Health Primary Care Clinic in Glendale. I've been very fortunate since relocating here to have found a place to practice with an organization and a clinic that I think very highly of.
And you know what, because I've grown up with Adventist Health, is what's so great about it is if you're not there, your associate takes me on, and there's a familiarity. I love it. So become part of this great clinic, and it's part of a conversation where you as a family can be treated by not just one person, an entire clinic that will make sure that you are healthy and that you wash your hands. Quite a few questions in this last bit. What if somebody's allergic? What if somebody's vegan? Because there is egg.
There is egg in most of the vaccines that
Okay.
we use now, a very small amount of egg protein. So people who are strongly allergic to eggs probably should not take it, the current flu vaccine. We are making new flu vaccines now that are not made in eggs.
So it's kind of like a vegan.
Exactly, a
Okay.
recombinant kind of vaccine that doesn't even have the virus in it. So
I asked you before we started, talk to us about the new immune boosting compound called adjuvant. What is that?
I'm not an expert in adjuvant, but essentially it is an additive to the
Okay.
flu vaccine that we give to people who perhaps do not have as robust of an immune system, older people or people with other chronic conditions, that helps their immune system mount a stronger response to the vaccine.
Okay. You know, some people get, like we get a tetanus shot that lasts 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
other shots and vaccines. Why do we need a flu shot every year?
The flu viruses, and there's multiple flu viruses that cause influenza, evolve and they change. And they change very quickly. And the flu virus, or the flu vaccine that you received last year may protect you against last year's viruses, but the viruses this year are different.
How do we find out what the virus is from last year compared to this year?
The CDC, which is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, and the World Health Organization do research year-round
Okay.
to see what viruses are out there, what ones are causing the biggest problems, and they make a prediction every year as to which 3 or 4 strains of the virus they think are going to be the biggest problem and most common, and those are the ones that go into the vaccine.
A lot of people, not a lot, people have said that even with the flu shot, they get sick. Why is that?
Well, there's a couple reasons why. First of all, when the vaccine is made, that's based on a prediction as
Okay.
to what strains are going to be the most common
So it's
this
not,
year.
it's not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee. They're usually pretty good at that, but the effectiveness of the vaccine in a given year is very much affected by how well they match
Okay.
the prediction and the actual. There's also, like we've talked about, many other flu-like illnesses that are similar that can cause similar kinds of symptoms and illnesses. Also, you have to keep in mind that when you get your flu shot, it takes about 2 weeks before
Okay.
your body has enough antibodies to protect you. So if you get your shot today and you're exposed tomorrow, you can still get the flu.
Got it. Hot flu season, which I think it's and not even so much flu season. What is your invitation to all of us in regards to just taking care of ourselves?
Maintain a healthy lifestyle.
What is a healthy lifestyle?
A healthy lifestyle
for
is
you?
get plenty of rest.
When you say plenty of rest, are we looking between 8 and 10 hours?
Typically,
Okay.
very few people nowadays get that much sleep.
I know.
Most people get 6 hours.
Okay,
or
6 to 8.
and
Okay.
that's really not enough. And sleep is what helps your body repair the day's damage. It helps your mind repair and
And
process.
and for all of you that are trying to let go of a few pounds, you lose weight when you sleep.
That is correct.
So take a lot of naps, people.
Sleep deprivation causes weight gain.
Okay.
Eating a healthy diet.
What is a healthy diet?
Typically lean protein, lots of vegetables, some fruits, low carb, low fat, heart healthy. Those kind of diets maintain a healthy weight. Exercise regularly.
What is regular exercise for you, doctor?
In a perfect world, we would like to see people 5 days a week, 30 minutes a day.
Minimum 150 minutes a week.
Of some kind of cardiac exercise that raises their heart rate to a certain level and keeps it there. But we'll take what we can get.
Doc, and
You have to start somewhere.
start somewhere and say no to smoking.
No smoking.
And in regards to drinking, everything in moderation.
Exactly. Exactly.
Final thoughts on the flu, doc?
Go get your flu shot.
That was such a, and come see you at the clinic.
Absolutely.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Okay, so bottom line, wash your hands. Up to 6 feet if you're not feeling good. Don't give the gift that people don't want. A lot of sleep, liquids, exercise. You know, we are in charge of our health. We're in charge of our wellness. So be healthy, stay healthy, have simple snacks, eat more of a colorful diet. Our mission at Adventist Health Glendale is just to have you be as healthy as possible. And speaking of Adventist Health Glendale, you've noticed our new look. And with our new look, We have some great places you can find us. Please watch us on our YouTube channel at capital AHGL Healthline, and also follow us on Facebook at AH Glendale, Twitter at AH Glendale, and you can always find us on LinkedIn, Adventist Health Glendale. And I'm at Gregory Zarian. Remember, the most important conversation you are going to have is about you and your health. So why not make it a healthy one right now? Take care. We'll see you next time.